listening to the Theology of Games podcast, your source for gaming news, reviews, and interviews with the top voices in the industry. Find us online at theologyofgames.com. And now, here are your hosts, Scott Firestone and Jeremiah Isley.
All right. Hey, everybody. Well, I hate to disappoint you because I know you came here looking for just more than me, but it's just me. It's Jeremiah. We are following up. It's a follow-up to our Origins coverage. And what I've done here is actually, if you go over to That's How I Roll, which is theologyofgames.com/roll, you'll find 3 giant-size episodes. They're all about an hour or more of the 3 days of our coverage right there from the floor in our booth. What I like to call Studio 359 at Origins had a lot of really amazing people showing us a lot of really cool games, and we just had an amazing time at the booth there. But what you can do is you can head over there and check all those out. Also, if you want to see all of those interviews, go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/theologyofgames. And we have posted all the live videos that we shot during these interviews. So you can see everything that we're talking about. All that fun stuff is all right there. But what I've done for this month's Theology of Games episode is I've taken some of the best. I don't like to say best of the best. It's just sort of a highlight reel. I've selected a few folks from each day that we were at Origins, and I've put them all into one episode, which is super, super long, and they are here for your listening pleasure. So sit back and relax. You're going to enjoy this. We've got a lot of really great folks from the gaming industry talking about some really exciting releases, and I think you're going to like it. Before we get to that, I do want to let you know there's some exciting things happening here at Theology of Games, including the launch of our Patreon page. If you go to theologyofgames.com, there's a Patreon tab. You can click on that or just go to theologyofgames.com/Patreon. And you will find out all the cool stuff that we are doing there. Now, the cool thing about this is, well, I don't know if it's cool just yet, but I'm in talks with 3 or 4 or more board game publishers, people who are in the industry, and we're going to offer some really, really cool pledge tiers if you want to be a patron of the Theology of Games network. We're basically lumping everything we do into a multimedia network, including all of our Facebook Live, YouTube, social media, written content, and of course the 3 podcasts that we do here on Theology of Games. We're kind of lumping that all together, so it'll be a monthly subscription that you become a patron with, instead of, every time we create content, you'll get hit for X amount of dollars, because we just create so much. We thought that would be ridiculous and not cool. So go over there, check that out. Like I said, it's sort of a soft launch right now, but there's some very, very cool stuff coming, and I can't wait to show all of that to you and more as it becomes time to do those things and let you know about the cool stuff that's happening there. So just be aware of that. And I think I'm going to be done talking here. Thank you again to everybody who came out to Origins and said hi. We had a really, really great time, met a lot of really cool people, and of course we interviewed some amazing people too, which we're going to listen to right now. And we're back. We're here at what I like to call Studio 359.
Yeah.
Or Booth 359, but
Studio 359 sounds better.
Way cooler, right? Yeah. So I'm sitting next to Isaac Childres of Gloomhaven fame.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going great. Having a great Origins.
Great Origins so far? Everything cool?
Yeah.
You don't have any booth space or anything here? You're just kind of chilling and...
Yeah, no booth, just chilling.
Showing off some cool stuff that's sitting in front of us right now?
Yeah, doing a little bit of showing off. Also just, hanging out, talking to people, having a good time. That's my measure of success for Origins, if I had a good time.
If you had a good time, so
it's been going...
So far successful?
Going great, yeah.
Good. So you've got the player mat for Gloomhaven sitting in front of us.
Yes.
I'll let you take it away and tell people what's going on here.
Sure. So these are player mats made by Quiver Gaming Gear.
Oh, yeah.
And they are going to be coming to Kickstarter. I'm sorry.
Did it unplug on you again?
Yeah. Okay. There we are. Let me just adjust that occasionally. They'll be coming to Kickstarter at the end of the month.
Okay.
And I'm really excited about them. I don't like to do a lot of licensing stuff for Gloomhaven because, I don't know. Some people have the tendency just to like buy everything, buy whatever Gloomhaven thing that they can find. But I try to be really, discretionary about like what I put in front of people because I know people have that tendency, but I don't want to like nickel and dime on everything
and oversaturate and all that stuff.
Yeah. So anything that's like licensed Gloomhaven, I want to be like really special and really enhance that game experience.
Cool.
So I'm really excited about these mats because I think a lot of people are really gonna like them. They don't take up too much space on your table.
Yeah.
Maybe like a little bit extra space, but you can see there's not a lot of like superfluous area on here.
Right. Yeah. Everything looks pretty. All the real estate is being claimed for something.
Yeah. But it just really helps you organize all your cards and all your items and everything, and also just like looks really great on. I was
gonna say the graphic, the design of it looks really cool. Quiver Gaming Gear, their mats are some of my favorite. I've got
it's really high quality.
A couple of them in my house that I throw on tables and take with me places, and everybody's like, where did you get this? What is this thing? Because it's so cool. They use the nice gaming felt or gaming suede and all that stuff. So is this, how do people get this? You said it's coming to Kickstarter soon?
Right, yeah. Last week of June.
Okay.
Should be up on Kickstarter. I'm not sure the exact launch date.
Okay.
But yeah, look for it at the end of this month.
Do you have an idea of what the pledge level is to get, like, is it like a set of 4 or?
Yeah, you can get a set of 2, a set of 4. I think you can buy them individually. So I think like a set of 4 is going to be about $50.
Okay.
They are made in America. They are very high quality.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're worth it.
Yeah, for $50, that's not bad at all. And so how did Kevin approach you? Like, did he approach you, or was this something you were seeking out? Like, you wanted to get a play mat?
Well, so it was kind of funny. This guy Christoph, I think he lives in Poland. I'm not 100% sure on that. But he contacted me on BGG and was like, I designed these player mats. I was wondering if I get your permission to sell them to like a few of my friends. I'm like, well, these are really great.
Yeah.
We'd have to like come up with like a licensing thing if you wanted to sell them. But what we could do instead is I could, buy the design off you, and we could, I have, Kevin is a friend of mine from Covert Gaming Gear, and, we could, make a lot of them and sell them to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because I really thought it was a great design, a great concept. I actually ended up approaching Kevin.
Okay.
Being like, I have these player mats. Would you be interested in making them for me? And he was really excited about it. So
yeah. That's great. I love that, because that's kind of like, here's a guy that's a fan of the game, obviously.
Yeah.
So much to the point that he wanted to design this player mat and create something that helped other players and his friends and stuff. And then here it is now. It's an official Gloomhaven licensed item that people can get a hold of. So it's cool how that community just kind of like worked together, and you had a guy that could make mats, and it all came together, and now we've got this.
Yeah.
So very cool. What's cool at Origins? What's the coolest thing you've seen so far? What's the hot game that you would tell people to go check out?
Well, so I got the great privilege to play Vitalis Arda's upcoming game. I think it's coming to Kickstarter like next month.
Okay.
Escape Plan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, got a personal demo from Paul Grogan of Gaming Rules, and that was really fun.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a much lighter. It's definitely lighter. Vitalis Arda.
Okay.
He's obviously known for like really heavy stuff.
Right.
So I think this game is going to be good for that sort of medium to heavy crowd.
Okay.
As maybe like a gateway to more complex Lacerda games. But it was a lot of fun. I got to actually play it twice, so I learned to play from Paul, and then I actually demoed it for some other people.
Oh, cool.
To just get in another game because I wanted to play it again.
Right,
so
right.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Very cool. Awesome. So what's next for you? What's next for Gloomhaven? What can people expect to see Gloomhaven available? Again, it seems to just evaporate as soon as it hits the market.
Yeah, it just, it's such a big game. It takes so long to actually just make it.
Right, right.
So we're making it as fast as we can. So yeah, another printing of 40,000 copies is coming.
Okay.
Like in a few weeks. It
Nice.
should be back in retail.
Okay.
We don't know how fast they're going to sell out. They'll probably sell out again. So if you want a copy, make sure to get into a store and pick it up before it's gone.
Right.
And then there'll be other printings, but you'll have to wait again for those.
So there it is. Buy it up when you can. Don't pass on it because it'll disappear. I'm sure it's been red hot since day one. So
it's been really crazy.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's very gratifying and
it's a good problem to have, right? That you don't have any copies to sell.
Right. Absolutely. Cool. Is there anything else you're working on beyond Gloomhaven? Have you even thought that yet, or are you just kind of like trying to keep up with the beast that is Gloomhaven?
Well, everything I do, I try to like theme to Gloomhaven just because I'm interested in exploring that world.
Sure. Okay.
So Founders of Gloomhaven is coming to Kickstarter backers like next week.
Nice.
Like it's all sort of happening at once, so that's exciting.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So Founders of Gloomhaven is coming to backers, and then by Gen Con, definitely like it'll be available in retail as well. And that's a heavier Euro game, sort of city building, tile placement sort of thing, action selection. It's a lot of fun, but it's definitely like a heavier experience and not just related to Gloomhaven in theme, but not necessarily in mechanics.
Cool.
But it's just another chance to sort of explore the world in a different way.
Check out the world of Gloomhaven.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then we got the Gloomhaven expansion coming up.
Right.
The smaller expansion, Forgotten Circles.
Okay.
Should be available at Essen, probably available in retail like later in the year, like maybe November.
Cool. Now,
yeah.
I have to ask you because Gloomhaven, I mean, it's this massive, like you said, it's a world that you're exploring. It's legacy. It's all these things. Like, I mean, what possessed you to try to do something that massive of a scale? And put in that kind of work to create this world and these characters that come and go and all. Just where did that come from with you?
I mean, it was just the game I wanted to play. So I'd played other dungeon crawlers, and I really love the dungeon crawler genre.
Sure.
Just going around killing monsters is just a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I was just a little dissatisfied, or I felt like there could be more exciting things or more stuff tailored more to my taste, like less randomness, more player agency.
Yeah.
I just started with that. I'm like, I want to make a dungeon crawler, and so I made like a single scenario with four characters and some bad guys, and I just kept thinking about like, well, what would I want like in a game like this, and I just kept adding to it, and that just became a monster in itself.
It took legs and grew itself. So
yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I just had to ask you because I had you here. I was like, man, just the thought process of building that out, from scratch. Just I'm sure it was enjoyable, but I'm sure sometimes you were probably pulling your hair out, like, how is this going to actually work? But it's been, like I said, wildly successful, and I'm excited for you. I think that's great, and to me, it almost encompasses what tabletop gaming has become recently, in that it's not just the big publishing houses, it's not just the the big people that have been around for years and years, and they put out great content and great games, but an upstart can have a great idea, and this community will embrace it, and you're living that out right now. So.
I'm just a guy with an idea, and with the help of
Kickstarter
and just a lot of research and all that sort of stuff. And it takes time and effort, but anybody can design a game and publish it. Hopefully it'll be good.
Right. So, all right. Well, cool. Hey, thanks so much for spending a little bit of time with us.
Yeah, no problem.
Folks can check out the Kickstarter for the playmats coming up soon. You said...
end of this month.
And there it is, Gloomhaven playmats from Quiver Gaming Gear, and look for Gloomhaven soon in your stores.
Yeah.
but don't blink because they'll be gone. All right, thanks so much, Isaac.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Appreciate it. It's time to go.
It's time to start.
It's time to start.
We can do that.
Once again, Tiffany Caires. Did I say it right this time?
You got it. Woo! Only took 3 tries.
Only 3. But we're here. You weren't here when I was calling it Studio 359. We're in Studio 359 right here.
That's I like it.
Because it's booth 359, so I just said Studio 359. The first 358 studios did not suit my very high standards.
Yeah. I mean, I really like it. The view is pretty good. It's breezy.
Agree. Elf Creek Games across the way.
Yeah,
so there's like a creek going across.
It's very nice, yeah. And the chairs are pretty nice, and the floor is cushy. It's good.
I had to have the cushy floor.
You should. Yeah. I'm very jealous. I will just come stand on your floor.
Duly noted. You're welcome to stand on my floor anytime. But while you're here, why don't we start talking about the game?
Yeah, we could do that.
The game that people are literally running to your booth to get and leaving crying and gnashing teeth when they don't get it.
Yeah, I had a guy that this morning was like, I only had to run over 3 people this morning. And I was like, please tell me they weren't children. Don't know.
It's like some Black Friday thing in the middle of June. I don't know.
So I'm here with Welcome To. And it's a roll and write without no dice. So we're calling it a flip and write. Or a flip and fill, sorry. A flip and fill or a reveal and write.
That flip and fill, I hate that guy. No, it's something different, sorry.
The game is for 1 to 100 players, and we're only limiting it to 100 players because that's how many player sheets you get in one copy.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's one of those games where everybody's going to get a player sheet, and if you want to play with more, there's an app, and there's a QR code on the side of the box, so you can play with an app on your phone as your player sheet. But everybody's going to have their own player sheet, and what you're doing is your 1950s suburban architects of like making housing developments, which is the dream job.
Who wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah, that's we're going back to what everybody really wants to do is make suburban America.
I have a joke about time travel, but you didn't like it.
No, it's good. I did.
Like going back to 1950s? Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
So what's going to happen in this game is every round there's 3 decks, and each deck will have a discard pile next to it. And every round you get to pick one of the house numbers that you want to write. And so you only get to pick one of the 3 options.
Okay.
And you have to write a house number in one of the houses. And you have 3 streets on your player street. And each street needs to be sequential by itself. So each street needs to go from lower to higher when you write down the house numbers for the streets.
Okay.
But aside from that, you can write the house numbers wherever you want. So you could be like, I'm going to put a 5 here. I'm going to put a 6 over here, or 2 streets down. Doesn't matter as long as you follow the sequential rules. The numbers go from 1 to 15.
Okay.
And the numbers, really, if we're honest, are just the limiting mechanic in this game.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the way that you get points is actually the bonus actions associated with the house number that you select. The back of every card has a bonus action on it, and you can preview what that bonus action will be for the next round by the corners of the card. They little sneak preview.
Yeah.
But different bonus actions will allow you to improve your neighborhood in various ways. So if you, for example, selected this 5, its associated bonus action is to improve the park. So the street that you wrote the 5 on, you would scratch off the 0 for the park, or the lowest number on the park associated with the street, improving the quality of that park.
Okay.
And at the end of the game, you would score points. Each street has its own park. You would score the number, the lowest visible number for each park at the end.
Okay.
So that's one of the primary ways that you can earn points. And then there's other things, like some of the houses have pools in the backyard. So if I want to build a pool, I would need to write this number, which is associated with the pool, on a house that has a pool, and then I get to build the pool.
Gotcha.
I get more points.
Wow. Okay.
There's like a little bit of a this is whoever did it the most thing. So at the end of the game, you're like, who hired the most contractors?
Okay.
And then this is like the thinky brain part of the game, where you can use fences to section off different parts of your street to make estates. And then you can use another bonus action, this purple one, to increase the value of those estates. So if I wanted to do this one, I would do my 3, I would write my 3 someplace, and then I could do this bonus action to increase the value of, say, my size 2 estates. So I would get more points for every size 2, like, sectioned off group of houses.
Okay, nice.
So yeah. And then you can also, there's a nice helpful action that you can use for when you mess up. When you realize that I've written a 4, a blank, and then a 5. And you're like, there's nothing.
Can't do anything.
There's nothing that can go between
right,
there.
because there's not a number that exists.
But is there? You can split your lot. So with this action, this bonus action, you write the number associated with it. So in this case, I would write this 9. And then I could use this if I wanted to do like in that case that I was saying, like a 4B. Or something. So I could split the lot of another house. And that helps you also fill out your neighborhood quicker. So if you want more houses more quickly, you can use that. However, if you do that, you will start accruing negative points. So you don't want to rely on that too much. And one of the reasons why you might also want to speed up the game is there's city objectives that you can earn. And actually, this is where the player interaction comes in, where there's a little bit of a race to this. So these are, for this example, this one is you want to have a completed estate of size 3, and you need 3 of them. And so the first person to get that would say, I did objective number 1, and they would write on their slot that for objective 1 that they got 8 points.
Nice.
And then from that point on, we would flip it, and everybody else that completed that objective would only get 4 points. And you can only complete an objective once. And you can't reuse estates that you use for one objective or another objective. Basic stuff. But that's like the only way to get points is using the bonus actions and manipulating. And the tough part is if you can't write a number because every street like has a 9 or something like that, you take a penalty. And if you take enough penalties, the game's over. So you could, end the game for everyone because you sucked.
Because you were terrible at it.
Yeah. You were really bad
this
at
game,
city
I'm
planning.
so terrible at this game, nobody gets to play it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
we're done
awesome.
now.
So... like you said, very limited copies available at Origins. When will it be more proliferated?
So Origins, so Origins, we're just doing, this was a pre-release. We just wanted to get people to play it. We wanted to see if people would really like it. Apparently they do. And so it was more of a soft release. So we're only doing 25 a day here at Origins, which is why it's very limited.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but it is a Gen Con release. So we will have this available for Gen Con, and we will have a lot of copies of Gen Con.
You'll have piles and piles.
Yes.
Awesome.
And you can actually pre-order for Gen Con now at welcometogame.com. And you can pre-order for Gen Con pickup. And also, if you go to that website, you can actually pre-order for shipping in July. So if you're willing to pay for shipping, you could get this game before it's in stores, which it'll be in stores in September.
There it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thanks again for stopping by. Really appreciate it. Always a fun time.
Yeah.
Good luck with the rest of the con.
Thank you.
Everybody check out Deepwater Games. Lots of cool stuff going on over there. I keep walking by, and like there's just cool things going on and games everywhere, and it's pretty awesome.
It's our first year, and we have 8 games here for sale.
Super
we had 8 games for sale. Should put it that way. So yeah.
So very cool, very cool. Well, congratulations on this. It seems wildly successful and highly anticipated. So that's good news.
Yes, awesome. Well, thank you for having me on again with your squishy floors.
Absolutely. Come stand on my squishy floor anytime you want. We're here at Origins 2018 in the exhibit hall, Theology of Games Live and in person. Sitting to my left, for those who are listening, they can't see you with your bright yellow shirt.
Even if they could see, it would blind them. It's that yellow.
It's that yellow. It's Chris Leader from Calliope Games. You have brought intrigue and suspense to the table today. The Mansky Caper. Tell us about the Mansky Caper and everything that it involves.
Oh boy. All right, so here's the deal.
Okay.
The year is 1925, and the richest and most powerful mob boss in the country is Al Mansky. Now, Al Mansky is a little bit eccentric. All right, he's got so much money. He's got gems and coins and all kinds of things, but he doesn't believe in banks. He doesn't believe in security guards. Instead, he puts all of his money into safes in all the rooms of his palatial mansion, and then...
It seems reasonable.
Oh, yeah. And then what he does is he booby traps them with TNT.
Even more reasonable.
It should dissuade anyone from ever trying to rob him, but guess what?
They do.
We're going to try to rob
All right,
them.
let's do it.
That's right. So we are a family of associates. Now, this is not a cooperative game, but it is a game where you sort of have to work together a little bit. But really, you want the most loot by the end of this thing.
Sure.
When this mansion is in ruins, it's a smoking husk of a mansion. You want to drive away in the getaway car with the absolute most loot, because that'll make you the head of your family, basically, at that point.
Right. Bragging rights.
Yes. So the Mansky Caper, you will have 5 rooms laid out. I've got some things laid out here, but you'll have 5 rooms laid out. Some will be face down. They're locked. They're not open yet. You don't know what they are. Some will be open. Everybody will have a character. These are colorful characters like Georgie the Nose and Lucky Lucy, and there's Java Joey, and there's all these crazy characters. They all have their own special skills and abilities.
Okay.
What'll happen each turn is you'll move your character into one of these rooms. You will pick up the 3D safe. Give it a shake. Listen to that.
I love it.
You will reach in and you will pull out some loot. Oh, I found a key, so I can open one of those other rooms.
Oh.
Or maybe I pull it out. Oh, I found a gem and 2 coins. So I take one of these colorful, fancy plastic gems, and I take 2 coins, and I put those on top of my loot bag. Ooh,
Okay.
Look at that. My stash bag has some stuff on it, right? But it's sitting on top. I don't put it in there yet because it's still vulnerable.
All right.
Now, let's say I'd entered a room where there were 2 people, and I reach in and I pull out some loot, and I find that I got 5 gems. I would take, because there's 2 people in here, we have to split evenly, right? So I would get 2. The other player would get 2, and one of them would sit in the room and wait until someone left, when the person who's remaining in the room gets to take it. All right, so you're pushing your luck a little bit because you don't want to leave that room. You want to get the stuff. And now, what you could do on your turn is, if you've got a lot of stuff on your bag, you may want to take a turn to return to the getaway car and then put all of the stuff into your bag. And then it's safe.
Okay.
Now, we're talking about things being safe and things could happen. Well, what could possibly happen?
What could
happen?
What could go wrong?
So when you reach in, sometimes you pull out one of these TNT danger.
It's booby traps.
It's booby trap. You found a danger.
Okay.
And you have tripped the booby trap.
Oh boy.
And what you need to do is you need to roll this fancy custom die and see what happens with that
very
trap.
fancy.
It is very fancy.
I love it.
Now, it might be everything is okay. Thumbs up. You're good.
Right.
You've disarmed the trap.
Okay.
You may find that you blow up, and cartoon style, you lose everything on your bag, and you go flying back to the getaway car, all covered in soot.
Only to start again.
That's right. The loot in the room may blow up. That means everything on your bag, everyone in the room who has stuff on their bag, they lose it, and any loose loot in the room goes away.
Okay.
The room itself might blow up.
Oh, my
Which
goodness.
means the entire room, the safe, everything, all of the stuff people have on their bags, the people go back to the car, that's all out of the game.
Wow.
Right? Or Al himself might come back. He was heading to Boston. He forgot his sunglasses. He comes back to the house and he goes, "Hey, this place is a mess."
Yeah.
So he runs around and he cleans everything up, which means everyone loses their stuff, but they stay put. They hide behind like plants and things in the room.
Put a lampshade on your head.
Exactly.
Right.
And then he leaves and you resume the game. So that's the danger die. If you pull a danger die, you have to roll this die.
Gotcha.
The other thing you might pull is a gasp. A gasp token. Now, gasp tokens are interesting because when you pull a gasp token, you draw and reveal one of these gasp cards, which usually starts with you find a little bit of stuff, and then something happens. Like in this case, you discover the gems are fake. All players in this room discard all the gems on top of their bags. And any leftover gems in the room get discarded as well.
Oh, boy.
So, gasps are plot twists. They affect the game in good ways or bad ways. You just never know.
Gotcha.
So the game involves going into the rooms, drawing. You might get loot. You might get danger. You might get gasp. That's the basic game. But the thing that's on top of that is each of these characters has their own special ability. Some let you roll that danger die twice and pick the result. Some let you change a danger into a gasp or do some different crazy things. But you cannot use your special ability for yourself. Instead, at the beginning of the game, everybody gets one of these call in a favor tokens. See, we go a long way back. We owe each other.
Right.
We owe each other favors.
Of course.
So if I want, let's say, Lucky Lucy lets me double the amount of loot I get from a gasp card and then just not do the effect, just in case it's something bad.
Nice.
I might pay her a favor as another character to use her ability.
Gotcha.
But she can't use that for herself. So there's a little bit of a bargaining that goes on during the game. Hey, you're about to roll that danger die. You want to pay me a favor? I can make you roll it twice, Right. Or like Frankie the Fixer lets you draw 2 loot tokens and put 1 back. You can see what you want to do that way.
Oh, cool.
So there's a little bit of bargaining that goes on with, using your abilities and getting favor tokens.
Yeah.
And you want to have these favor tokens because the other thing you could do with these, when someone goes back to the car and they stash their stuff that's on their bag, they're feeling good. Maybe they threw a ton of stuff in there. Gold coins, gems. You didn't get much. You don't have much. You just maybe have a coin. Mm-hmm. They're back at the getaway car. You follow them there. You burn a favor token to say, hey, buddy, remember, we're supposed to be in this together. You both dump everything in your bags and you split it 50-50.
Oh.
But that favor token is out of the game. This is not something that gets traded around anymore. That one is burned.
Nice.
So you're pushing your luck. You're trying to get the good stuff. You're trying to avoid the bad stuff. There's a danger track on every room. And as the danger tokens go up, if they hit the boom, the room's going to blow up.
The room goes
no
away.
matter what. Nothing can stop that.
Gotcha.
So at the end, the game ends when either all of the rooms have been destroyed and Al's mansion is just a husk of just a heap of rubble and debris, or everybody's back at the getaway car at the same time. They know that these safes are low on stuff because it tells you here what's in each safe.
Okay.
You know that it's all dangerous, and you all say to each other, hey, let's leave Al with a shred of dignity, cut our losses, get the heck out of here, and you all say, okay. Then you all empty your bags. Coins are worth 1, gems are worth 5, and if you have any leftover keys, they're worth 3.
Okay.
That's the Mansky Caper. That's what it's all about.
That sounds great. That sounds really, really fun. This is available now? This is our very first production copy. Okay.
We got word today that the shipment is due to leave to come to us from the factory in a few weeks.
Okay.
So we expect to have this in August.
Gotcha. Great. Well, looks like a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. And the one thing I want to point out, too, is we at Calliope believe in getting into the experience of the game right away.
Yeah.
So when you open up the box, all of these safes are pre-built. These are cardboard safes. They are pre-built.
Yeah.
This storage box that comes with all the coins and everything's punched and ready to go. And this is going to be shrunk wrapped just like this.
Wow.
So when you open the box, it's all ready to go.
You just pull it out and play.
Absolutely. And the rule book that's in there is actually a comic book that introduces all these characters. It's a quick start guide, and then it goes into the actual rules themselves.
Okay.
So we wanted to make sure that you could get immersed in this world as quickly as possible and not be punching a bunch of cardboard. Because while some people enjoy that, and there's nothing wrong with that,
right,
we just want to get you into the experience of robbing Al's mansion as soon as possible.
I love it. I love it. Well, hey, thanks so much for showing this off. I'm really looking forward to having a chance to play this one myself, and looks like a blast.
I see what you did there. A blast.
There it is.
Boom.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. We're at Origins, and it's Saturday.
Yeah.
And everybody is just a little bit fried.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting here with, is it Gallen or is it Galen?
It's Galen.
Galen.
Like Chief Galen Tyrrell of the Battlestar.
I was going to say, yeah, that's what I was going to say, but I didn't want to be like the Battlestar nerd and pronounce it wrong. But I tried to err on the side of caution and pronounce it wrong. You're the designer of Atlantis Rising.
I am, yep.
Which Elf Creek Games is getting ready to kickstart.
Yeah.
And this is a second edition. Mm-hmm. And so tell us about it. What's different about, I guess fill in people that don't know Atlantis Rising a little bit about the game and what kind of you changed in the process of creating the second edition.
Yeah.
And we'll start there.
So let me give a quick overview for those who aren't familiar at all. Atlantis Rising is a cooperative worker placement game. In the game, you portray the citizens of Atlantis on the eve of its destruction, having angered the gods who are sending floods and other various misfortunes to sink the island, as per Plato's account. And you're trying to essentially use your Atlantean technology to build a gate to save the rest of your citizenry before the island goes beneath the waves. So essentially how the game works is you, as a worker placement game, you're putting your workers out there to try to take some actions, but before they get to take their actions, the gods send the misfortunes. So you're going to draw cards that are going to indicate sections of the island that are going to get flooded. And if your worker's on there, you lose your action.
Gotcha.
the closer you are to the bottom, the better the action is. So it's up to you how much risk you want to take. And then after the misfortunes occur, then you actually get to take the actions for the game. So some of the changes from the first edition are we got new art. Vincent Dutray is doing our art. We're really excited about having him on board for that. We've jettisoned the Atlantean Navy. For those familiar with the first one, it was sort of a worker tax. Essentially, people had to put workers there so that they wouldn't build up too many. And then we've got new components that instead of giving a one-time benefit, create new worker placement spots for people to go on throughout the game that'll give benefits. And then we have some new knowledge cards, a new type called a artifact that stays in play. And we made all these changes based primarily on feedback from Board Game Geek. So the Board Game Geek community is very vocal, obviously. So we've got hundreds of comments on Board Game Geek of people who reviewed this game, liked it, didn't like it. So I made a big spreadsheet and kind of said, okay, what do people like about this game? What do they not like? Kind of treated it like a big 5-year play test of the first edition. And then so most of the changes that we've made were based on that feedback.
That's very cool. I guess that's a really good way to approach it, because there's people that obviously have some investment in the game, and enough so that they're giving feedback through Board Game Geek or whatever venue. So I guess that's a really smart way of really tweaking a game and kind of creating something new with it that is also familiar. So that's very cool. What else are you working on? Is there anything else in the works design-wise? Or?
No. This is my one and only design. I'm a full-time college professor. That's my job. I'm also a full-time gamer, though, and I love it so much. My wife kind of challenged us to make goals one year, and I said, I'm gonna design and publish a board game.
Nice.
Or get published. I don't want to publish board games.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with that.
No. But yeah, so this is my one design. I've dabbled around with some other stuff. I think I'll probably publish something again in the future, but nothing serious right now.
Okay. Yeah. What do you teach in college?
I teach sociology. Yeah, so I teach about race, gender, stratification, inequality.
Right. Why board games? You said you're a full-time gamer. What's it about the hobby that sucked you in, and now you call yourself a full-time gamer?
I think cooperative games sucked me in. I remember I played Dungeons and Dragons and Magic, that kind of stuff for a long time, and then I was at a convention called KublaCon out on the West Coast in San Francisco, and got introduced to Days of Wonder's Shadows over Camelot. That was the first real board game I had played, other than maybe Catan or something, and I sort of realized, wow, this is a whole nother genre of gaming I've never even explored, and the fact that you could play together against the game was fascinating to me, and I've loved cooperative games ever since. I like a good competitive game too, but as you can see, when I got a chance to design a board game, I designed the game I would want to play.
Right.
So it's a co-op.
There it is. There it is. Yeah, there is something about I've played cooperative or competitive games for a long time, but when you start playing cooperative games, it's like, oh, this is cool. Everybody's working towards a goal, and one of my favorite games in that realm is Lord of the Rings, the card game.
Yeah, it's a great game.
It's so good.
Love it.
So, well, cool. Well, hey, thanks so much for swinging by, showing us the updated, yet to be finished, but looks like you got some artwork to sort away there.
Yeah.
But really appreciate you letting us take a look at it, and good luck with the Kickstarter.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Can you tell us when all that's happening?
So,
give us all that promotional type stuff.
Absolutely. So it's being published by Elf Creek Games.
Yes.
The Kickstarter is September 4th.
Okay.
We have a Facebook page for Atlantis Rising if people want to check that out. We're also on Instagram or any other major social media, Twitter, etc. And there'll be big announcements, ads up on Board Game Geek when it happens.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much, man. Really appreciate it. And we're here. Sitting to my left, your right.
Yes.
Sure.
Sure.
Is Paul Peterson.
Hello.
How's it going, Paul?
It's going great.
Dude, it's so good to have you here.
Oh, it's so good to be
Look
here.
at this. We have a booth.
I know. This is amazing.
Isn't this
I love
so cool?
it. Yeah. And an entire sound booth, too. This is amazing.
It just wouldn't feel like home if I didn't have a microphone in my face.
You're more comfortable. I understand.
But so anyway, thanks for stopping by.
Oh, of course.
Really appreciate it. Longtime fan of a lot of your stuff, Guillotine and Smash Up and all the stuff that you do. But you've got something new with you
Yes,
today.
I do. Yes,
and,
I keep trying to put out new games, and so I've succeeded.
Excellent.
This
Goal
is,
accomplished.
yes.
So there will be people listening, not watching
Sure,
as well.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
we'll be descriptive as we can, but
Of
there's
course.
a monolith of a tabletop thing in front of me.
Isn't it a beautiful, like,
It's
it doesn't look like a
gorgeous.
normal box. And,
It does
and
not.
That's 100% on purpose. It is, so the game is called The Ninth World.
Okay.
It was designed by Boyan Radakovich, myself, and Mike Selenker.
Okay.
And it is it's set in Monty Cook's Numenera universe. It's if people aren't very familiar, that's like one of the RPGs on Kickstarter that like blew everything away, and
Okay.
he's gone through a couple editions now, and
Yeah.
it's an amazing world. It's sort of it's Earth, but it's set like 1 billion years in the future, so you can't even really think about what things would be like.
Right.
And that's on purpose because it gives you a freedom to create. Like the reason it's called the Ninth World is because civilization, as we know it, like where we are right now, is the first world.
Okay.
And civilization has risen and fallen.
Gone through
8 times.
Yeah.
And so the world is just full of stuff left over from previous worlds, basically.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
that may have been higher in tech than us or lower in tech than us, but they're just crazy things. And so the world is just open and crazy, ridiculous, wonderful things can happen.
Very cool.
Yeah, exactly. So we really loved the world, and we made a card game for it. Basically.
Okay, so that was the RPG, and this is a
Yes.
card game
Yes,
sort of
this is a
version
card
of
game.
that thing.
Yeah, this is we call it a skill building game. It's kind of like a deck building game, except your deck is 5 cards, basically.
Okay.
So it's like maybe a hand building game or of
okay.
some kind. You just have these 5 cards, and you never will have more than that, but they'll get better over time. So,
Okay,
and then
very
every
cool.
turn you use them as best you can to fight monsters and get wondrous artifacts and go on quests for people and things like that.
Wow, that sounds
Yeah.
cool. It sounds cool. The box is amazing.
The box is amazing.
I'm definitely going to have to check this one out.
It's even more amazing than you think because it's this tall cylinder. It looks like a wine box, right?
Right.
For a big bottle of wine.
Yeah.
But it actually, once you take the cover off and you actually unwrap the casing around it to open the box, and that reveals like the scoring track, and there's a map on it and cool stuff like that. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. The
Very
form
cool.
factor on this is amazing.
That's awesome. Which is part of what makes tabletop gaming so cool. It's actual physical things in front of you that
Right.
you can touch and hold and move and manipulate. So great. What else are you working on? What's cool and what's awesome? And
Well, I'm always making Smash Up expansions. So
Right.
I'm currently I'm 1 year ahead of where we are basically
Okay.
in the Smash Up
Okay.
world, because we do 2 per year. We do one in the spring and one at Gen Con basically.
Yeah.
So I'm working 2 ahead, and
Okay.
the one for Gen Con is been in the can forever, and we're really excited about it. I think it was the one that the players voted for basically.
oh yeah. That was really cool.
Yeah, that's going to be really exciting. I've got some other games out at places, but they haven't been announced yet, so it's
So
harder
I have
to
to
talk about
twist
them.
your arm.
Yeah,
and try to
yeah, exactly. But I'm very excited. They actually will probably be coming out next year, finally.
Yeah. Cool. I'm being told to turn you down a touch.
All
there.
right.
All right. So you're constantly working on stuff.
Yes.
What's your full-time gig now? You're working with.
I work at the Pokemon Company.
Yeah.
I work on the Pokemon card game, so that's a lot of fun. It's a harkening back because I worked on the Pokemon card game in like '99 when I was at Wizards of the Coast, and they had the license for it. So it's old school for me.
So you're like back. It's like the boomerang thing
Yes,
going
exactly.
So you're like friends with Pikachu.
Yeah,
and
basically.
Stuff. So I can tell that to my kids.
Yeah.
Origins is getting bigger.
So I walked in what I thought was going to be the exhibit hall, because
Right.
it's been the exhibit hall for
Yes.
years, and I was like, "Why are all these people? Where are all these chairs doing here? What are these people
What
sitting
are
around playing games
tables
for?"
and things?
It's I thought maybe they just done, but then I was like, "Oh, okay." And I walked into the room that used to be where people played games, and it's a much bigger room, but now it's the exhibit hall.
It's the exhibit hall.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
I swear this is at least twice as big as last year.
I would have to agree with that, because they've, last year it was Exhibit Hall A was full,
Right.
and then it started spilling into
Right,
B. Like
right.
there were some vendors that were in there, and now it's B is full, and
Right.
it's spilling out both sides. It's just like
Exactly.
oozing out. It's like getting bigger and bigger.
It's so exciting. I mean, I've been coming to the show forever, and
Yeah.
it's always been sort of like the other show, and I don't know that is true.
I don't think so. And it's funny because I talk to a lot of people who say if you had to choose Gen Con or Origins,
Right.
they're like, I would go to Origins because it's big enough. Just about everybody's here.
Right.
It's a really cool thing.
Right.
But it's still small enough that you can see people and
Right.
you have these meetings and so
Right, exactly, yeah.
it has that cool feel about it.
Yeah, it's great, and I'm also here for I do the podcast here. So it's my podcast. Once a year for 3 nights at Origins. We do the official Origins by Night, which is really just a recap of the show. So people who are at the show can be like, listen to what cool things are here that they might have missed or that they haven't seen yet, and be like, oh yeah, I want to go see that now.
Very cool.
Very
cool.
Focused.
I love it. Well, Paul, thank you so much for your time.
I'm glad to.
Thanks for
Anytime.
swinging by. Always glad to have you on the show. And thanks for all the great games. You've contributed so much to the community and to
Thank
the
you so
hobby.
much.
Really appreciate you having time
I
to be
appreciate
with
so
us.
much when people come up and tell me how much they enjoyed my games. It just that's one of the things I do it for. So
Absolutely. We love it. So thanks so much.
Oh,
and
thank you.
we'll be in touch when more cool things come out from Paul Peterson.
of course, every
Awesome.
time I'll be here.
Excellent. Awesome. Thanks, man.
You bet. Bye bye.
We're here with Curt Covert, which is the coolest name yet
Thank
that
you.
we've had in the booth by far. So here with Theology of Games at Origins, we're live on the floor, and you've brought a monstrosity
I have it that.
to the booth. I remember seeing prototypes of this last year at your booth and just going, what is that? It's crazy. So tell us about it.
Well,
I'll stop talking. You
betcha.
can tell us about it better than I can.
So this is the Tower of Madness, and it is at its core a dice game.
Okay.
With a 15-inch three-dimensional clock tower filled with marbles and 30 plastic tentacles coming out of every wall of the tower.
It's beautiful.
Well, thank you. If you think about what this tower is, it's the same kind of dramatic tension that gets added to like the RPG Dread when they use the Jenga tower.
Okay.
So we're using a familiar kind of a theme to add tension to a dice game.
Nice.
So you're
Okay.
rolling dice trying to solve this investigation, this horrific location.
Right.
And if you fail, you have to draw from the tower, and then marbles will potentially fall out of the tower.
Okay.
But not all of the marbles are bad. There's a reason why we're investigating these places.
Hmm.
So, blue marbles are worth 3 points in victory, just like being the lead investigator at the mines would be 9. So, these are great things.
Nice.
You start with 2 spells, which have, of course, both a sane and an insane side, by the way.
Of course.
But the only way you get more is if white marbles drop out of the tower in the Forbidden Knowledge.
Oh, okay.
But all this comes at a risk. So, red marbles are madness. You collect 4 of these that drop out of the tower, and now you switch sides.
Oh.
You're no longer an investigator. Now you are
You're stark raving mad.
stark raving mad, and you're trying to summon Cthulhu. You don't care about points. You don't care about dice. When it's your turn, you're drawing tentacles, trying to summon Cthulhu. And
Nice.
when Cthulhu will rise if the 3rd green doom marble drops out of the tower before the investigators finish the stack of locations they're investigating.
Okay.
And if you are the insane player that caused the 3rd marble to drop, well, that's another win condition. You're raised as the Exalted
Okay.
for summoning Cthulhu.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
But each location has a different rolling condition, so it changes how you play or how deep the punishment is. For example, at the mines, if you fail at this location, you have to draw 2 tentacles out of the tower.
Okay.
Or it might be a different kind of rolling condition where, in this case, you have to lock an extra die way before you want to. So that limits your choices of succeeding.
Okay.
But in any case, it's an exciting game. We were hoping to have it here for Origins,
Right.
and we had a problem with the dice, so it's now going to be a Gen Con release.
Okay. Okay.
But we are really excited about it. It's going to retail for $60,
okay.
and we're just people walking by, just like traffic stops when they see this tower.
It is
Yeah.
a spectacle for sure.
Yeah.
It's just it pops right off the table because, like you said, it's a tower. It stands off the table.
Yeah.
It's this great component. So, you guys, so you said $60 retail. You're looking at Gen Con for the release. What's what's beyond this for you guys? Is there something cool coming down the pipeline?
Oh boy, this is an exciting year for us. So we've got a bunch of. This is the first time we're going to have 5 different releases.
Oh wow!
And we don't even have time to talk about them all. But
nice.
I tell you what, I'm going to clear this and let me show you the one we are launching right here.
All right.
Which is the launch of our new game title.
So while you're doing that, let me ask you, Smirk and Dagger, you guys kind of have this stigma, or this, I guess it's not a stigma, it's just what you guys do is you kind of make mean games, right?
We do, yeah. For 15 years, we've made nothing but stab your buddy games.
Right. How, like, what made you decide, like, let's do that? Like, let's make friends argue and test the bounds of friendship.
I just think those games are funny. I've just always thought that when you stir up someone's emotions, it just leads to memorable gameplay.
Yeah.
And I just personally happen to love games where you like line someone up in your sights and you just dig it in there and you laugh, and that's Smirk and Dagger is exactly what that is.
Perfect.
So yeah, I've always had a real fondness for that type of game mechanic, and I dedicated my company to it.
Yeah.
But starting this year, I'm now doing this full time. And coming up with 5 to 6 backstabbing games would be horrifically hard to do and do well.
Sure.
So we decided to expand our shoulders a little bit. So we now have an imprint, Smirk and Laughter games. It's all still emotionally centered gameplay. I still want games that cause some kind of reaction at the table.
Yeah.
I want to impact the emotions as well as the mind.
Yeah.
And so this is the first one that is coming out. And do you have the cover? Thank you.
Perfect.
So this is Nuts So Fast.
Very cool.
And it is a fast reaction game.
Okay.
So, I mean, there are games that are kind of like, Ghost Blitz, Jungle Speed. These are games that are in the genre.
Yeah.
This amps up the party atmosphere of a grabbing game. And what it is, so on my turn, I'm flipping over 2 cards, and I'm not comparing them to anyone else. It's just the active player. And what you're looking for is exactly 4 of a matching nut. And as soon as you see that, you grab the token. Now, if that's true of walnuts, it's true of cashews, and there's 1 less of those than there are players. So someone's not going to get one, and they take the points.
Gotcha.
Pistachios, no matter how many players there are, there's only 1. So whoever grabs that, you get to decide who's going to take the points.
Oh, nice.
And then the almond, curiously enough, is not pictured on any of the cards, and he's there to mess with your head. The only reason you grab the almond is if you see exactly 7 of nuts. Like 7 cashews, don't grab the cashews. Grab the almond. Or 2 sets of 4. So 4 walnuts, 4 cashews, don't grab either of them. Grab the almond. Now, someone's going to screw it up. They're going to grab the wrong thing. They end up taking penalty points, 2 off the top, and they get to 0 out their score as a result. It's a rare, rare occasion, but it's pretty cool when it happens.
Nice.
But the other trigger, and this is, I think, what kind of raises the party atmosphere, number cards will pop up.
Oh.
Now, there are 3 cards that will have 3 nutty poses indicated out here. So there'd be a number card 1, 2, 3, like this.
Sure.
So if I flip 3, I do the 3rd pose. Everyone has to now do this, and the last person up takes all the points.
Wow, okay.
And just as you're like, 3 is this, now next round, they all change. So you're like constantly,
I like it.
So it's a frenetic, laugh out loud kind of a game of mistakes.
Yeah.
And this is doing extremely well over at the booth. It's $20. It comes with like all these really high quality wooden tokens.
The components look great. The nuts
they're super
are like
chunky,
big chunky wooden, like printed
nuts.
on. It's not.
Screened on. Yeah,
that's very cool.
So this is doing extremely well.
Awesome.
It's an absolute party just waiting to happen.
Very cool.
Do we have like half a minute left?
Yeah, what do you got?
All right, because I got to show you this thing too. It was not too unusual, I think, for Smirk and Dagger to come out with a game like this, kind of a boisterous party. But this next one is really unusual. Like, if Smirk and Dagger came out with this, people would lose their minds. Like, who are you guys anymore? We don't even understand. So this is Before There Were Stars.
Okay.
And this is the most emotionally rewarding storytelling game I've ever seen.
Really?
it is a story. It's a game about telling creation myths. So there's a constellation row with all these different constellations, and on your turn, you take these star-pipped dice and you roll the night sky. You scan the heavens looking for constellations that you might see that night. So if I have a 6 and a 2, I could bring the axe into my story, or the bear if I had those dice.
Okay.
Every turn, I'm going to take 2 cards into my story. And then I have about a minute to say, all right, well, in the beginning. And I'll use those 2 concepts to now tell the story of how the universe started.
Nice.
And then chapter 2 more cards and one from the past. Now it's the dawn of civilization. How do we get here?
Right.
And then a great hero emerges. And finally, end of days. Is this going to be doom and gloom? Is it going to be hopeful? You decide.
Yeah.
And no one's taking your story off course. You decide what the story is going to be, and you own it.
Cool.
Now, there is scoring, and it's private. So you hand your offering bag around the table at the end of every chapter, and people will put either 2, 3, or 4 points worth of the star beads in your bag.
Okay.
But you don't know what's going on, right?
Right.
And importantly, what you're scoring for is not who's the best presenter, not who told the funniest joke, but who had the coolest moment in their story.
Okay.
And this really levels the playing field. Even people who are not super confident storytellers can do really well at this game.
Right, if they have some cool idea about what that story
exactly,
is.
yeah.
Nice.
And the most important point of the game, and one of the reasons I love it so much, is since scoring is secret, we haven't shared what we thought was really cool about each other's stories. And the last point of the game, it's one bonus point in the appreciation round. I'm going to go around and I'm going to highlight 1 or 2 things I heard that I really enjoyed. You know, when you told the story about the goddess weeping and it filled the oceans, that was a beautiful image. I loved that. But you, sir, you had those 2 giants warring over the one eyeball. One could look at the past, one could look at the future. So cool.
Right.
Bonus point for you.
Nice.
So now we've heard 6 really cool stories. People have started telling us like what they love, and someone has told you what they liked about your story in particular. So you walk away from the table feeling like, this was really cool.
Yeah.
And it's a heartwarming, really feel-good game. You hear some really interesting stories.
I'm sure.
About creation myths.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, not what I would expect.
Exactly,
from
right.
Smirk and Dagger,
Yeah.
but still, just a really cool sounding game.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So this is also going to be August for Gen Con.
Okay.
And this is going to appeal, I think, very broadly people. All the components we made, it's almost appropriate for like a wine table almost. Like so you can have like a couples night even with this game.
Yeah.
Role players are going to love it. Board gamers are going to love it. It's just it kind of
has a very relaxed feel. Like just looking at the components and hearing how it plays.
Yeah.
Just kind of a relaxed, chill out. Everybody's sitting around.
That's
talking
exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Very cool. Well, good stuff, man.
Hey, thank you.
You guys are killing it over there.
Well, thanks.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thanks, for bringing this stuff by. If people want to get a hold of you guys, where should they do that? Just is smirkanddagger.com?
Yeah, smirkanddagger.com. You can follow us on Facebook at smirk_dagger.
Okay.
We post all live news up there and everything else. So, yeah.
Nice. Very cool. All right, Curt, thanks so much for stopping by.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we're sitting here with Rob from White Wizard. Thanks for stopping by. First of all, it's Saturday, so I think everybody's got like the brain fry happening right now.
Yeah. So this con starts on Wednesday. Gen Con starts on Thursday. So,
right.
We got an extra day of brain fry.
Extra,
going on.
right? So we're a little crispy right now, but we're here. How's it been for you guys? It's been great over here.
Yeah, it's been a busy show. We actually, I think this has been the best. Wednesday was, I think, our best gaming Wednesday for.
Okay, nice
for Origins. It just seemed like there were more players. So it seems, it seems like the show's growing.
Yeah. I was gonna say it just seems like in general there's more people here.
Yeah.
Than in the years past. So you've got a prototype to show us. You've got a couple other things to show us.
Yeah, so we've got a
lot of stuff.
Ton of news for all of White Wizard games. We've got a prototype here of the new Sorcerer game, which is going to be coming out to Kickstarter backers in the fall and to stores for Christmas. We've got some samples of the new Star Realm stuff that's going to be coming to stores soon, and got some samples of Epic. So we've got lots of new stuff going on.
Excellent.
So first thing we have here is Sorcerer. This is the first sort of big box game from White Wizard Games, and also this game is sort of a more mature theme game than anything we've done before. So the lead designer for Sorcerer is Peter Schultz. I met him in Germany a few years back at the Spiel show.
Okay.
And he had this game that he was pitching. He normally at that show I'm too busy. I don't really look at new games, but he started laying out components, and the artwork and the graphic design was just so beautiful and detailed that it intrigued me. I wanted to take a look.
Sure.
And I took a look at the game. It was awesome. And we've been working together for years, sort of to bring it to the point where it's finally ready for production.
Cool.
In this game, everybody's a bad guy. So each player is playing an evil sorcerer. The evil sorcerers are trying to take over the world, but they're battling with each other for who's going to be in charge. So you're a sorcerer. You're trying to battling another sorcerer for control of Victorian London. So it's a horror fantasy set in the Victorian era. Definitely not a game for the young ones. I don't I play Star Realms and Hero Realms and Epic with my kids. Not so much Sorcerer.
Right. Which we like to just point out. There's we see all kinds of games come through. There's horror themed games and science fiction and all that stuff. So this is definitely one that's on that darker side of the horror thing.
And when I first looked at the game, I love the mechanics, but I was also my first thought was, maybe we take this and do like a superhero theme or something.
Reskin it some way.
Reskin it.
Yeah.
But then I looked more, and the game designer did so much research into different myths and legends around the world, and had such a rich, beautiful world. I was like, okay, this game's not going to be for everybody, but the people who like this genre, wow, is there
they're in for a good game.
Here.
Yeah.
So we might reskin the mechanics later, but boy, if you're into horror, especially sort of Victorian era horror, this game's beautiful. So in the game, at the beginning of the game, each player creates a sorcerer by taking one character deck, one lineage deck, and one domain deck. And so it's super easy to get started. You just grab 1, 2, 3, and you're good to go. And you've basically, at that point, built a really cool deck which has all kinds of synergies and different interactions.
Right.
So there's 64
you can combo up a lot of stuff.
64 different possible combinations out of the base game alone.
Okay.
So, for example, if I chose the Masilda card and the Necromancer deck and of the Haunted Forest, then my character would be Masilda, the Necromancer of the Haunted Forest. These cover cards would go in front of me, and these powers I could activate during the game anywhere where I chose to put my Masilda avatar. So you got a little character avatar that goes with your deck.
Cool.
And during the course of the game, players are constantly engaged because the play always goes back and forth. There's an action phase and there's a battle phase. During the action phase, the players take turns taking actions, and with an action you can gain energy. You use energy to play your cards. You can cast a spell, which is to play a card from your hand by paying its energy cost. You can meditate to draw 2 more cards from your deck. You can activate a power on one of your cards. Some of your cards will say action : do something awesome. To do that awesome thing, you have to spend an action on it. And finally, you can spend an action to reinforce, which is to move your minions around. There are 3 different battlefields representing different parts of Victorian London. So, for example, here we have the battlefield for Old London. And if you damage if you deal damage to your opponent, they can choose to either put it on their minions or to put it on their side of the battlefield. If you can get your opponent's side of the battlefield up to 12 damage, you flip it over to the ruined side of the city and you put a control marker on your side of it. If you can control 2 of the 3 battlefields, you win the game. And the battles are resolved using dice. The game comes with these a beautiful set of dice. So these 6-sided dice are used for combat. So the skulls are hits, the double skulls are 2 hits, the blanks are misses, and the stars are critical hits. The attacking player gets to decide where the critical hits go. So if you had an opponent's minion who only had 1 health left, you could do a damage to that and kill it before it could attack. And the regular damage is assigned by the defending player, so they get to choose where that damage goes. So the game has strategy card game elements, so it feels like you're playing a trading card game. And it also has tactical board game elements. You've got minions in various locations. You move them around and deal damage to... they can only deal damage and use their abilities in the locations they're at, so it has that sort of tactical board game feel as well. So that is Sorcerer, and it'll be coming out to Kickstarter backers this fall and to stores in Christmas.
Cool.
And speaking of Kickstarter, we have Star Realms Frontiers. The new Star Realms set has been... Kickstarter backers have been waiting for that one for quite a while. We unlocked a ton of stretch goals during the Kickstarter campaign for Frontiers, and there was a lot of additional content for us to make. Took a lot longer than we were hoping, but we are finally done. The stuff is awesome, and it is ready at our printer in Texas. These are printed in the U.S., and they are currently shipping from this week. They're going to be picked up at the factory in Texas, moved to our fulfillment center in Florida. So if you back the Kickstarter, you can expect to see those coming
pretty soon.
In the coming weeks.
Very cool.
And I'll just a quick look inside the box here. Got a big rule book. There's of course all the new Frontiers cards, and we also have these oversized cards. So there's 8 different oversized cards. These allow you to play Star Realms together, either as a solo game or with your friends. Team up and play against the game. And there's 8 different missions.
So it's like a solo or co-op.
Exactly.
Kind of module.
Solo co-op play. 8
Very
different challenges to play against.
Nice.
So that is the Frontiers box set. If you ordered it on Kickstarter, if you're in the U.S., you should be seeing that in your mailbox as soon as in a couple weeks, or there's about 8,000 U.S. backers, so it'll take a few weeks. Once the shipping starts, it takes a few weeks to get through all of it. So anywhere between a couple weeks to about a month to be seeing that. Another item that was introduced in that Kickstarter was the Universal Storage Box. So
it's a behemoth.
It's a behemoth. So basically, Star Realms comes in this little box. It's super portable.
Right.
But a lot of people have collected a ton of Star Realms over time.
It's been vastly expanded over the last few years.
Exactly. So for people who own a lot of Star Realms and they want a nice box for carrying this stuff, just to give you a sense of scale, there's a regular Star Realms card.
So there's the scale of it, right?
Next to the box. So this will hold every Star Realms card we've ever printed in card sleeves, with lots of room left over for growth. So you can put some other games in there, or you'll have room as you get more Star Realms over time. And I just want to get a quick look inside the box, because this thing is really awesome. So
that's great.
So basically, it's got these big, thick walls. It's super sturdy. Comes with ton of dividers. We've got ones set up for your regular game cards, and we also have ones for for each individual expansion. So if you want to set up your play deck, you can do that with the regular dividers, and all the other stuff that you're not currently using, you can divide up by the set, so you can easily locate them. Comes with these nice foam blocks for keeping your cards steady. So if you only are using half a row, no problem. Just use the foam blocks, and your cards will stay in place. And then it also comes with a 15-card promo and token pack. So a bunch of really cool cards in there for your Star Realms deck. And this guy is $29.99. It'll be in stores later this summer or the fall. And if you want it, I would strongly recommend pre-ordering it from your local game store, because I think there's a good chance we're going to sell out of these
demand's
guys.
pretty high, I'm sure.
And then also for Star Realms, I don't have factory samples of the other items yet, but we've got the command decks coming out. These allow you to play as a legendary commander from the Star Realms universe. When you're playing a legendary commander, you don't use a regular starting deck. You use your custom starting deck. You also have you have a bigger hand size, more starting authority, and you have special ability cards, gambits that start in play. You can play a legendary commander against 2 players playing regular starting deck, so you can play 2 versus 1 that way, or you can play a legendary commander versus another legendary commander. So those packs will be, again, going out to Kickstarter backers imminently, and in stores this fall.
Awesome.
And
there's more.
But wait, there's more. For Epic Card Game, our strategy card game, we have the new Pantheon packs, and we have the 2 newest packs, and these packs each contain 12 cards for your Epic collection, plus a double-sided token each, and each pack also contains 2 demigod cards, which allow you to play as a demigod from the Epic Pantheon, and that will. When you play as a demigod, you have you're a little more powerful, and you have some custom abilities, so you can play a demigod versus a different demigod in the game.
Awesome.
So, and lastly, for Hero Realms, Hero Realms has been nominated for an Origins Award here at the show. So if you happen to be around Origins, you can swing by and vote. And we've got some new stuff in the works that's targeted for early next year. The most notably chapters 4 through 6 of the Hero Realms campaign, the continuation of the story from the Ruin of Thandar campaign, will be coming out early next year.
Is that all?
That's it. That's all we got.
That's amazing. Well, you guys have been super busy, and Star Realms has been a wild success. It's just kind of launched you guys into this community, and it's awesome. So congratulations on all of this stuff. Check out White Wizard Games here at Origins.
Thank you, guys.
Find them on social media. You guys have Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff?
We do. I don't know.
You don't do a whole lot.
I don't do the social media too much. But yeah, if you go to whitewizardgames.com, our Facebook links and Twitter links and all that stuff is
all
there.
That stuff there. Perfect. All right. Thanks so much for being here.
You, guys.
Really appreciate it. Day 2 of Origins. How's it been so far?
Is it only day 2?
I think so.
I was here Tuesday, so...
Oh, so it's a little longer for you.
And we were here Wednesday, open Wednesday, so it's day 4.
Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry.
Feels like day 50.
Yeah. But we're here with Travis Reynolds of Queen Games. This is kind of an exciting game. Like, people are a little bit excited about this right now.
This game has a lot of buzz. We think it's a great family game, which I think is a lot of the reason why it was nominated for Spiel, Jaris, and... it's demoing nonstop. People are loving it. People want to get it. We don't have it here, unfortunately. But
yeah. So tell us a little bit about it. It's for those who are listening and not watching. It's Luxor,
right?
which, as you said, nominated for the Spiel.
Yeah,
and
it's from Rudiger Dorn. It was nominated for Spiel des Jahres. Great family weight game. In this game, we're at the pyramids at Luxor. We're going down into the pyramid. Our adventurers are going through the tunnels and collecting treasures along the way and trying to find their way to the burial chamber to find the sarcophagus where all the goodies are stored. And along the way, they're going to stop to pick things up and take different actions. The way they do that, they start with a hand of 5 cards.
Okay.
So I'm going to lay 5 cards out here on the table so the Facebook Live people can see those. So on my turn, I have a couple adventurers out there, and I can move either one of them, either 5 or 1. I always have to play the outmost cards. So either my farthest right or my farthest left card.
Okay.
So let's say I play this guy, he moves 5. If he lands on a tile like, say, this one, he can claim that tile because it only takes 1 adventure.
Okay.
If he lands on this one, he can sit there and wait until another one of his guys comes along, and together they can
have 2 on it.
2 of his guys,
okay.
right? So at the end of my turn, whether I claim 1 or not, I'm going to draw a card, and it's going to go in the middle, so it's going to push these cards out. So
nice.
You can kind of think, okay, I want to get that one out there, so I need to play these so it moves that direction.
Okay, yeah.
So you kind of plan your move out.
So there's a little bit like programming element almost in how you kind of build your hand out.
A little bit. And then one of the action tiles is a Horus tile. It's a big yellow tile.
Okay.
These tiles get removed from the board. We can't see the board, but it's a square trail.
Yeah.
These get removed when you take them, most of them. Some of them don't. They get replaced with these purple bonus tiles that stay there. But when they're removed, you skip them. So it kind of... You're plotting your move out and somebody removed a tile.
And then everything gets...
Yeah, now you got to readjust. But when you land on the Horus tile, you get to take a Horus card, and these are way better than the base card.
Okay.
So now you can play, instead of moving 5, I can move 1 to 5. Or
nice.
This one lets me move all my guys 2 spaces.
Nice.
So these are advanced. And then after you play these, they go in the Dread discard, and then everyone can draw them, so it kind of speeds and ramps the game up.
Very cool.
Ultimately, when 2 adventurers get into the burial chamber, that will be the end turn.
Okay.
All right, and then we're going to score the end game. These score in sets, so we can see there that's a full set, 1 necklace, 1 vase, and 1 statue.
Okay.
But there's some wild tiles in the game to where if you didn't have this, you could put a wild tile.
Gotcha.
And then you'd have a set. We also score for how deep into the temple our adventurers got.
Okay.
On the wall, there's like a value, and it says this space, and the further you get, the more they're worth. But some of them are worth 0, so you have to kind of
get past
not get caught on those because they're all the way deep in. You don't want to get caught and miss out. Then you score. You can't. Well, we didn't see the map. There are keys to get into the burial chamber. You have to have collected a key.
Okay.
If you didn't use them, they're worth a point. And there's these scarabs that have points on the backside that are hidden, random. You score those. Whoever has the most points wins.
It sounds like such a simple, like streamlined game. I'm looking at the components. There's no words on them. So like this is the German version because it's not yet available in English, and you can play this version. You just can't read the rule book.
Right.
You know?
That's right. We were a German company, so we're very aware of language independence. Very few of our games have any language dependability.
Yeah.
We work very hard to both accommodate that and color blindness and accommodate everybody that has issues.
Yeah.
So that everybody can play.
Yeah, that's great.
It is very simple. You're right. Right before I came over, there was a demo, and we took a picture at our booth. There was 3 generations playing the game and having a great
that's
time.
amazing.
There was like the kid and the dad and the grandma, and they're all having a great time. So it's a great example of why it's a great family game.
Yeah, and for me personally, that's great because there's a lot of times when I'm playing games and my parents are involved in the game and my children are involved in the game. So it's that 3-generation thing in games like this that can bring everybody together and we sit around and we have a good time. That's fantastic. I love deeper, like really heavy games, but
mom doesn't want to play.
No, right.
Like we have Yokohama sitting over. That's a great game, right?
Yeah.
Mom doesn't want to play Yokohama.
Right. No, it's not going to happen.
I mean, you and I would want to play Yokohama.
Absolutely.
But Mom doesn't want to play
I'll play
Yokohama.
it all day long, but yeah, the grandparents, not so much. My wife even, not really going to get into Yokohama.
Right, sure.
But this is a game that, but it finds that sweet spot of, it's not just a simple kid game. Like, it's a game that you can enjoy as an adult, and and kids can still play it and enjoy it and have fun too. So
yeah, absolutely, I agree. And also, if you want your wife to eventually play Yokohama, she's got to start somewhere, right?
Exactly.
And you get her. And we do I feel like we do a pretty good job of. So this game is targeted at the market we want it to be in.
Right.
But we also release what's called Queenies. There are many expansions for our games.
Oh yeah.
That you can choose to incorporate, and then those will ramp up the complexity and add some additional things.
Yeah,
and,
I've got some of those for Kingdom Builder.
Yeah, you can choose to pick and your personal complexity and how much you want in the game. So, you can kind of get both that way.
Yeah, very cool. Well, Travis, thanks so much for stopping by, and good luck with this. I hope you guys win. I think it'd be a great choice for the Spiel this year, and really appreciate you stopping by to show it to us.
Sure thing. Thanks a lot.
We are here in booth 359. I'm going to call it the 359. I don't know. Come up like Studio not? 359, right?
It's hip.
It is hip. Sitting next to me is Tom Wetzel of Cosmos. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, glad you could be here. You've got some cool games to talk about. Some of them you can show us.
Yes.
Some of them are but a figment, an inspiration. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up.
Yeah, they're not here yet, but they will be very soon.
Very, very soon. So let's start with what we've got in front of us, which is Andor. You've got some more Legends of Andor.
Yes.
Go ahead and fill us in on what we've got here.
So, Legends of Andor, that came out in 2013.
Yeah.
And highly acclaimed, won a lot of awards, and we just keep producing more expansions and more content for it. This is the latest, and I think the most interesting that has come out.
Cool.
Most interesting because these are new heroes, right? You can use these as opposed to the ones that come with the base game.
Okay.
And these are cursed heroes.
Ooh.
So you can see this, but we have here a shapeshifter.
Nice.
He turns from either a man into a bear or a woman into a bear.
Okay.
Depending on which gender you want to play. And the cool thing about it is, like, bears are super strong.
Yeah.
As you
would think, because they're bears.
So that character is very strong. But because they want to keep the game even, there's also, like, this cursed aspect to it.
Okay.
If you're not on top of keeping your bear happy, or as you are a bear...
So honey and fish.
Right, berries. Well, that's just it. It'll just up and walk away. It'll walk out of what you were planning on doing and find the nearest forest.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then there's like this dark sorcerer who is somewhat loyal, but maybe has some issues, some luggage that she's carrying with her. And yeah, so half human, half Skrull. I mean, all these really cool characters that have great advantages, but with those advantages come some disadvantages.
With great power comes great disadvantage.
Yes.
I heard that somewhere.
I believe it's Batman, right?
Yeah, that's it.
I'm sure of it. So, and this is also really cool because this is kind of coming out with at the same time as the Legends of Andor, The Last Hope.
Okay.
But it's also backwards compatible, so you can actually use these heroes in the base game or the Journey to the North expansion as well.
Nice, so it kind of encompasses the whole scope of Legends of Andor.
And these are the cards that that go along with the characters because, sorry for slamming that on the table.
No, that's
fine. They go along with the characters. They give them a real, like, fleshed out story, a narrative as to, like, who they are, why they are who they are, and their faults.
And what makes them who they are. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. So is that available now? Is that something, if somebody was at Origins, they could pick up here?
Unfortunately not.
No? Okay.
We're thinking it'll be available to demo at Gen Con and hopefully for sale there, if not shortly after.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, next up, I see a box of Lost Cities sitting next to us.
Yes.
Tell me about Lost Cities.
This is perhaps the thing that's gotten the most attention at our booth, outside of Drop It, which is available now.
Okay.
and exit games, which are always popular.
Very popular.
This is kind of a little bit of a teaser because it's also not available yet.
Okay.
But it is the newest in the Lost Cities family.
Okay.
And unlike a lot of these other games, like the board game that came out and a couple of other things, this does not exist in that world or the Keltis world at all yet.
Okay.
It's all new.
Gotcha.
So similar mechanics where you're taking cards and putting them in sequence in your tableau.
Okay.
But the way you acquire them is no longer just a random draw, but you're actually auctioning for them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you're given some money that you have to spend wisely as you explore these new areas.
Awesome. And probably one of the hottest things that people are talking about is the expansion for Imhotep.
Yes.
Which is coming soon.
Also coming soon. Demo it at Gen Con.
Okay.
Hopefully purchase at Gen Con, but if not, shortly after.
Okay.
Yep.
So are you doing pre-orders at Gen Con, or are you planning anything like that? Or is...
We're really going to try and have it there.
Okay. So what does this add to Imhotep?
A lot of content.
Okay.
5 new boards, which are double-sided, so 10 new sites.
Okay.
As well as an expansion for the gods, which let you wager on different aspects of the game to earn more points. So it gives you more strategy, and also, like, those new player boards, one of them's a chariot race. How cool is that?
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
And then there's scaffolding, there's a new burial chamber, a lot of really cool things that I think actually add a little bit of complexity to the game, but not enough to really change it.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah. All right, so there it is. There's 3 very cool things coming from Cosmos. And, of course, like you said, exit games are always hot and popular. Yeah. And Drop It is a very cool thing. So thanks so much for spending time in Studio 359.
Thank you, Jeremiah.
Here at Origins. Appreciate it, man. Thanks. All right, we are here with Tim Heerema.
Tim,
wait, what did I say, Tom?
We're good.
Oh, man.
Off to a good start.
All right, so we're here with Tim, and it's player's choice on this. It's either Archmage or Archmage, but this is the game. It's right here. You can read it. You can say it however you prefer. It's gorgeous, first of all.
Thank you.
Congratulations. It looks awesome. Tell us about the game. I'm gonna stop talking and messing things up.
All right.
I'll let you start messing things up.
All right. So Archmage is set in a fantasy universe, but it is not your typical dungeon crawl. There's no dice rolling. There's no player stats. It's a Euro game in disguise. You've got resource management. You've got exploration. You've got action points. All those sort of beloved mechanics.
Cool.
So
very cool.
The setting is you're living in a land that's fallen into ruin and magic has been lost. So the board will actually start in its unexplored sort of state that you can see remnants of here. We've set up the game partway through.
Okay.
And then you're going to gradually explore these lost ruins and interact with the map. But where I usually actually like to start the explanation is over here on the player boards, which is where you're going to spend the majority of your efforts. So this is the magic system. I mean, in any good fantasy novel, you need an intriguing magic system as the hook. So this is the hook for Archmage. You've got 6 interlocking spheres of magic, each which have their own particular flavor. From the blood magic sphere, which is offensive, to nature, which is more about manipulating the map, to the elves, which we're going to focus on in this demo, which is the time sphere. They're going to let you do things more efficiently, move farther, etc.
Sure.
So, and then it's divided into 3 levels. You've got your fundamental spells around the outside of the wheel, your advanced level spells, a step up, and right in the center, you've got master level spells.
Nice.
So everybody's actually got the same 18 cards in their deck to start, but you don't have access to them off the bat.
Okay.
What you need to do is go and visit the mythic races from the board, and they will, in exchange for the relics they're seeking, teach you magic. So you want to bring some scrolls to the elves, and for every 2 that you bring them, they'll train some more apprentices in the fundamental time spell.
Okay.
So that spell will then get added to your spell book, which is like your tableau of powers.
Nice. Is that a chrome card? Like, is that foil?
In the deluxe edition, they are
awesome.
They are shiny. Ooh.
That's very shiny.
All right. So fast forward a little bit further in the game, we're going to get some gnomish magic going and some dwarven magic going here, and we would, as we learn those, add those to our tableau of abilities.
Okay. Yeah.
But the cool thing is, as a human mage, your job is to weave these various schools of magic together, spheres of magic. So when I return to my tower on the map, I can start to blend spheres of magic together. So these two guys would duel for a promotion. One of them gets kicked back to my company, and now this guy's going to stand here and show that I now have knowledge of this divination spell, which is a combination of matter and time.
So as they move in, you add to the different levels on your tableau.
Correct.
Right, okay.
But duplication is important because if you promoted these two up and gained the orange-purple spell, you've actually got no apprentice standing on orange anymore. You're going to have to give up that orange spell from your tableau. So
gotcha.
You're basically going to form a tableau, go out and play for a bit on the map, and then come back and form an absolutely new tableau if you choose, and set it out again. So it's not a single tableau build over the course of the game. You actually get repetitive tableau building, and you can adjust and find new combos within the deck.
Nice.
Okay. If I take it one step further, I can actually go up all the way to the master by combining those and giving those up and getting the very powerful master level time stop spell.
Nice. So is it, I guess, is this a lengthy game? Are we talking like 90 minutes plus? Or
it depends on the number of players.
Okay.
We tell people when you start, you're probably looking at 30 minutes per player.
Okay.
And it does run 1 to 4 players, so that takes anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours.
Gotcha.
But, I mean, my friend and I can probably do it in 15 to 20 minwas per player once we know all the spells and are very familiar with the rules.
You're not reading the cards and trying to figure out everything.
Right.
What was the inspiration for this? Like, what made you sit down and come up with this engine for building these spells? And
it's actually I started with this as more of a rondelle mechanic, which didn't work. My wife hated it. She told me to get rid of it. I ignored her. Took it to a game convention. They said get rid of it, so I listened to them. Thanks, wife.
Lesson learned.
Yep. Listen to your wife.
Yes.
But I've always been a fan of fantasy novels. I have bookshelves full of fantasy novels at home, and so the fantasy setting was really appealing to me.
Yeah.
This kind of idea of blending magic was sort of the core of what I started with and sort of built from there.
Nice. Well, for the people listening and not watching, you should be watching because it looks great. I was remarking as you were setting it up, the artwork looks really, really cool. And, really cool wooden meeple components that are all very custom cut and all that stuff. When is this available? What's the timeline for that?
Okay, so it successfully went through Kickstarter last June.
Okay.
And we are going to deliver to backers over the course of the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
And then the game will actually be available for sale at Gen Con and be available in retail right around the same time frame. So it will be available through your friendly local game store or in your usual online channels.
Awesome. Why game design? Like, what made you wake up one morning and say, I think I'm going to put some cardboard bits together and make people sit around and look at them at a table for a while?
So I've played games for as long as I can remember. That was how my family spent quality time growing up.
Yeah.
And so I really developed a love of gaming and sort of saw it as a natural way to spend time. I quickly fell into the consumerism of things where I just continually played the next thing. And I started to see patterns and things that I thought I could tweak, and so we'd adjust games we played and make them quote-unquote better.
Right.
And so then I just sort of thought, I've got some unique ideas that I just want to try out. I had some friends who were willing to sit down and spend time, and they've been very generous with their time over the time play testing this because it's a bit of an epic beast, and so I can't thank them enough for doing so. But for me, it was an escape from work. It's a puzzle that uses my mind in a very different way from my day-to-day job, and just gave me something to do in the long Canadian winters. So
I hear they're long up there.
Yeah.
What are you working on? Anything else? You got it. Most game designers I know, that's like a loaded question. But
I don't know how far I get. The one that's official is we are working on an Archmage expansion.
Okay.
So we're hoping that'll come to Kickstarter in the fall. We're in development and art design and so forth for that, which will introduce a new type of location into the game as well as new fundamental and advanced level spells for each of the 6 spheres. So
nice.
We'll give you that just variety of play, even more than what the base game contains.
Cool. Very cool. All right. Well, this is great. Again, Archmage or Archmage. Check it out. Starling Games, and looks really, really cool.
Thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks for stopping by.
All right. Appreciate it.
Well, there you go. There you have it. That's a lot of Origins talk. There's a lot of folks stopping by the booth. And I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did, because I had a great, great time recording all those interviews, meeting all those awesome people, and much, much more. Again, if you want to hear full and complete coverage of Origins. I've got every single day that we recorded interviews available for you over on theologyofgames.com/roll. There's 3 episodes that cover Origins there and all the stuff that we did. Also, if you go to Board Games Daily, there's a couple episodes that I did while walking the floor. I didn't get as much of that done because I was so jam-packed at the booth that I didn't have a lot of time to walk the floor this year, but there's still some exclusive content there that you can't hear anywhere else. So check that out. And of course, go to facebook.com/theologyofgames, where you will find live videos to go with every interview that we did in the booth, which was just a ton of fun. So check those out. It's really, really cool. You can see all the fun stuff that we were talking about. All the really, really cool games that made their way to our booth. It was just awesome. Again, thanks so much to everybody who stopped by, people were a part of our contest. We had crazy crowds gathered around the booth when we were giving things away on all the days that we were there. So that was just a ton of fun. Again, check out our Patreon page. Go to theologyofgames.com/Patreon, or just click the Patreon tab from any page at our website. Looking forward to unveiling some really, really cool stuff as soon as we can get that stuff firmed up. But if you want to get in on the ground level right now, it's open, it's running. You can do that, and we would really, really greatly appreciate that. Even just for $1, it'll get you some extra content, some cool behind-the-scenes stuff and that sort of thing, as well as being thanked on our website. All right, that's all I've got this week, I guess this month. This is the monthly show we do. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back next month with more Theology of Games podcast. AJ and Firestone will be back with us. And until then, we'll see you. Have fun out there. Get some games on the table. And we'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Theology of Games podcast with Jeremiah Isley and Scott Firestone. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd appreciate your subscription to the podcast and your review on iTunes. Thanks for listening. Have a blessed day, and until next time, get a game on the table.